So now let us learn about the thyroid gland in detail. So thyroid gland, it is the largest endocrine gland in the body. So it is largest endocrine gland, that it is the gland which secretes hormones, because it is endocrine gland. So endocrine gland secretes hormones. So thyroid gland secretes two important hormone. The first is, that is T3 and T4, and second is, that is nothing but the calcitonin. This T3 and T4 hormone, or thyroxine hormone and calcitonin hormone, they having important role. This thyroxine hormone or thyroid hormones having important role in the metabolism, and they regulate the basal metabolic rate of the body, having the function in the basal metabolic rate, or maintaining in the basal metabolic rate, or having the function in the physical growth or in the mental growth. So now let us talk about the location of this thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located, let's talk about location. Thyroid gland is located in the neck region. In front of trachea. It is present in front of trachea, just below the So location of thyroid gland is nothing but in the neck region, in front of trachea, just below the larynx. It is somewhat butterfly shape. The thyroid gland is somewhat butterfly in shape. So shape is butterfly shape. The color is like brownish red in color. So it is brownish red in color. Now let us talk about the structure of, or the normal anatomy of thyroid gland. So this is the structure of thyroid gland. So this is the structure of thyroid gland. This thyroid gland consisting of two lobes. This is left lobe and this is right lobe. So this is right lobe and this is left lobe. So right lobe consisting of two poles, that is upper pole and lower pole, and the left lobe is also consisting of two poles, that is upper pole and lower pole. This right lobe and left lobe are connected with each other with the help of middle isthmus. This is what? Isthmus. So what is the size of thyroid gland? Each lobe is about 4 to 6 centimeter in length, 4 to 6 centimeter in length, and 1.3 to 1.8 centimeter in thickness. And the middle isthmus is about 4 to 5 mm in size. And the location of that isthmus at a vertebral level, cervical 2 to cervical 4. So it is located, the isthmus is located at the vertebral level, cervical 2 to cervical 4 vertebrae. So now let us review the anatomy of thyroid gland. The anatomy of thyroid gland consisting of two lobes, that is right lobe and left lobe. The right lobe and left lobe are connected with each other with the help of middle isthmus. Each lobe is about 4 to 6 centimeter in length and 1.3 to 1.8 centimeter in thickness. The middle isthmus is about 4 to 5 mm in size, and it is present at a vertebral level C2 to C4. So let's go in more detail and take a transverse section of this thyroid gland. So I am drawing here the transverse section of thyroid gland. Each lobe of thyroid gland consisting of number of follicles. Each lobe of thyroid gland consisting of number of follicles. I am taking the piece of this thyroid gland or a piece of lobe consisting of thyroid follicles. This is one thyroid follicle and it is made up of cuboidal cells consisting of nucleus in the centers, and this is another thyroid follicle consisting of nucleus in the center. In between two to three thyroid follicles there are numerous blood capillaries. Also there are group of small cells in between the thyroid follicles. This group of small cells are called as parafollicular cells, and this is nothing but the follicular cell. This follicular cell secretes two hormone, that is T3, that is triiodothyronine, and second is T4, that is tetraiodothyronine. So this thyroid follicle secretes two hormones, that is T3 and T4. T4 is also called as thyroxine, and this parafollicular cell secretes one hormone, that is calcitonin. Secretes one hormone, that is calcitonin. This parafollicular cell secretes calcitonin, hence these cells are also called as C cells. So I am taking this follicular cell, this single follicular cell here. This is a single follicular cell which is made by cuboidal cells and nucleus in the center. This total one follicular cell is made by a single unit. This is a single unit. This is a single unit. This single unit is nothing but the thyrocyte. This is a one cell, that is one thyrocyte. This is other, and number of thyrocyte cell are coming in the circular fashion and they forms a thyroid follicle. So this is the basic cell and basic functional cell of thyroid follicle, and this thyrocyte, let us zoom in for thyrocyte. So this thyrocyte consisting of three walls. This is the apical wall, this is the lateral wall, and this is the basal wall. This is the basal wall, this is the lateral wall, and this is the apical wall. Basal wall also called as basal membrane. So apical wall is also called as luminal wall because it points towards lumen. This is the basic walls of the single thyrocyte cell. So this is a one single thyroid follicle. This is a one single thyroid follicle. Here there is a blood vessel. So blood vessel is present below the basement membrane of thyroid follicle. This is the basement membrane of one single thyrocyte or thyroid follicle. This is the basement membrane. So blood vessel present below the basement membrane of thyroid follicle. So let us take one single thyrocyte cell. I will take this piece of thyrocyte cell down this is the one single thyrocyte cell, nucleus in the center. So this is a one single thyrocyte cell. This is the thyroid follicle. I will take this one single thyrocyte cell here. So this is the basic and functional unit of thyroid follicle. So the function of thyrocyte is nothing but the formation of thyroglobulins, that is nothing but the thyroid hormones. So the main basic functional unit of thyroid gland is nothing but the single thyrocyte cell or thyroid follicle. This is a single thyrocyte cell, and the main function of this cell is nothing but the formation of thyroglobulins, that is nothing but the T3 and T4. So I have drawn here a single thyrocyte cell. This is a one single thyrocyte cell. Here there is a blood vessel present just below the basement membrane. Just below, this is the basement membrane of thyrocyte cell. This is the basement membrane, and this is the blood vessel. This is the one single blood vessels which is present below the basement membrane of thyrocyte cell. So there are usually 7 stages in the formation and the release of thyroid hormones again into the circulation. There are usually 7 stages. The first stage is nothing but the collection of raw materials or iodide. Collection of raw materials or iodide from the circulation. This is the first process or first stage, that is collection of raw materials or iodide into the thyrocyte cell. Once the raw material as well as thyrocyte cell, once the raw material enters into the thyrocyte cell or iodide enters into the thyrocyte cell, the next stage is nothing but the second stage, that is the formation of thyroglobin. That is nothing but the formation of thyroglobin. Once the formation of thyroglobin occurs, the thyroglobin as well as remaining iodide get secreted into the lumen. Globin and remaining iodide. Once there is a formation of thyroglobin, the thyroglobin as well as remaining iodide get secreted into the lumen of the thyroid follicle. This is the lumen of thyroid follicle. So thyroglobin as well as iodide get enters into the thyroid lumen or thyroid follicle lumen. This is the third stage. The third stage is nothing but the release or the secretion of thyroglobin as well as iodide into the thyroid follicle lumen. After this, some synthetic processes get occur. And the third stage, after the third stage, the fourth stage occur. The fourth stage is nothing but the storage. So this thyroglobin as well as iodide get stored in the form of colloid. The fourth stage is nothing but the storage of thyroglobin and iodide in form of colloid. This is happening, this process of or these 7 stages are also happening in the next adjacent thyrocyte cell. So the fourth stage is nothing but the storage of thyroglobin as well as iodide in the form of colloid. So the colloid is nothing but the this is somewhat colloid. The colloid is nothing but the collection or the mixture of thyroglobin as well as iodide. Hence, once our body requires a thyroid hormones or T3 and T4 into the blood, so what happens? This apical membrane of the thyrocyte cell forms a pseudopod. And it takes this colloid again inside the cell. it forms a pseudopode. This apical membrane of the thyrocyte cell forms a pseudopode and it takes the colloid from the lumen of the cell again into the thyrocyte cell. So once the colloid enters, colloid is nothing but the mixture of thyroglobin and iodine. So once the colloid enters or re-enters again into the thyrocyte from the lumen of thyroid follicle, the fifth stage occurs. The fifth stage is nothing but the re-entry of part of colloid again into the thyrocyte cell. So from this colloid, the sixth stage is nothing but the formation of T3 and T4. So from this colloid there is a formation of T3 and T4, which is nothing but the sixth stage. There is a formation of T3 and T4, and this T3 and T4 again get secreted into the blood circulation. So this is nothing but the seventh stage. So seventh stage is nothing but the T3 or T4, that is nothing but the thyroid hormone, the release of thyroid hormone again into the circulation. So let's recap the all process. The first stage is nothing but the collection of raw material or iodide from the circulation again into the thyrocyte cell. So once the collection of raw material occur or the iodide enters into the thyrocyte cell, there is a formation of thyroglobin. So the second stage is nothing but the formation of thyroglobin. So once the thyroglobin formed, the remaining iodide or thyroglobin again get secreted into the lumen of the thyroid follicle. So third stage is nothing but the secretion of thyroglobin and the remaining iodide into the lumen. So once the thyroglobin and the iodide enters into the thyroid follicle lumen, the synthetic processes occur. So after these synthetic processes, the fourth stage occur. The fourth stage is nothing but the storage, that is the storage of thyroglobin as well as remaining iodide, that is nothing but the colloid. So this thyroglobin and iodide get stored in the form of colloid. Once the colloid get formed, that is nothing but the mixture of thyroglobin and iodide. So when the body needs the thyroid hormones or the basal metabolic rate get lowered, then the body needs a thyroid hormone again into the circulation. So this is the apical membrane of the thyrocyte. So this apical membrane get converted into the, or it forms the pseudopode, and this pseudopode further takes this colloid. It forms a pseudopode. This is nothing but the pseudopode, and this is the colloid. So this colloid is taken up by this thyrocyte cell with the formation of pseudopode, that is nothing but the endocytic process. So once the colloid enters into the thyrocyte again, this is nothing but the fifth stage, that is nothing but the re-entry of a part of colloid by the endocytic process. Once the colloid or the mixture of thyroglobin and iodide enters into the thyrocyte cell, there is a formation of T3 and T4. So the sixth stage is nothing but the formation of T3 and T4, and seventh stage is nothing but again there is a release of T3 and T4 again into the circulation, that is nothing but the seventh stage. So this is all about the formation of thyroglobulins. This is a review of formation of thyroglobulins.